Hot Mic is brought to you by Red Wing Shoes of Fargo. Built to last. 3003 Main Avenue, Fargo.
Hot Mic with Dom Izzo.
Really? Really, Dom?
No. I like what Dom's doing.
Okay.
Dom Izzo.
Jeez, come on, Dom. What do you think I am, a magician?
Yeah, I'm fired up, Dom. What else could I say?
Absolutely. It was great to get on the field, and then Dom came up to me, and I'm trying to walk away from me. I just wanted to enjoy myself out there.
Hot Mic.
Great job.
There's got to be some kind of intelligent question about something.
Coach Dom Izzo, WDAY in Fargo, North Dakota.
Can you give me a layup or something?
Hot Mic. Presented by Northwestern Mutual.
That program is second to none.
On the networks of WDAY.
You know, if it's not about sports, I find it very hard to concentrate.
Here's Dom Izzo.
Good Tuesday morning. Welcome, everybody, to Hot Mic on WDAY Extra, KSFL TV in Sioux Falls, KMBN to our friends in Rapid City. We say good morning as well. And to everybody watching on Inforum.com, I am Dom Izzo, host of said show. Welcome to our program on this 9th day of June, 2026, the day after the NBA Finals became a series. We'll get to that here in just a little bit. Game 3 went down last night in a unbelievable atmosphere at Madison Square Garden last night. I've had the good fortune. I've been to one Knicks game a long time ago when they weren't very good, and still it was expensive to go. And it just being inside that building, I've been in there a couple times, once for the Big East tournament when it was still the Big East, and then for that. And to just be in there is something else. It's the world's most famous arena for a reason. So when you walk in, you automatically just you look up at the banners, and I roll my eyes at the Rangers Stanley Cup win in 1994, and the Knicks one is up there from 1973, and that's the last one. And you know that going in there, but every major performer ever has been there, and it has that aura to it. And to see it last night, like I got home and we got back from T-ball and checking out the pregame and seeing the the numerous stars that were there, whether it was Ben Stiller, McFeely's guy, Chalamet, Chris Rock was there last night. Eli Manning is sitting next to Derek Jeter. So you've got two of New York's pantheon of sports heroes, especially in the 21st century, is Jeter and Eli Manning. They don't get much bigger than that, right? And then the Knicks come out, and it just, even watching through the television, and I have no rooting interest. I'd like to see the Knicks win. I'm cheering for a good series, which, frankly, the first two games had been almost carbon copies of one another. The Spurs would get out by a double-digit lead. The Knicks would come back and win the game. And lo and behold, that happened again last night. The one different thing is, of course, is how the game ended. It just was, there's something, and people can roll their eyes, especially in this part of the world. I don't blame you. But when you have a championship series that involves a New York team, and it's been very infrequent as of late. The Yankees made the World Series a couple years ago, right? Football, the Bills are the closest have been there, and Buffalo hasn't been able to get over the hump. And let's not even talk about what the Giants and Jets have done in the last 10 years in football, right? The Rangers made the Stanley Cup final 10 years ago, 12 years ago. Gosh, it was 2014 maybe? They lost the King, whatever the year they lost the Kings. It's been a while, right? The Islanders haven't done it. The Sabres finally won a playoff series. So it's, and the Mets, we don't even go there. So it's been a bit. So anytime this happens, it just has a way of even bringing in non-sports fans that will gravitate toward this. And that was the case certainly last night. If anybody was watching any sort of news programs, if it was Good Morning America, Today Show, whatever, which are all based, by the way, in New York, so it's hard to ignore it, that the energy was palpable. Added to the fact the President of the United States was there last night, which his reputation in the city of New York, not great. Never really was great to begin with. It's at an all-time low. That added to everything last night. That it was just it went beyond sports. It did for a bit last night. Then the actual game happened, and this is what happened in Game 3 between the Spurs and the Knicks. This is my favorite shot. of them coming. I don't know, Eric, we can re-rack it just to see the start of it because it's fantastic of the camera coming right out of the tunnel and onto the floor. For the TV nerd and myself, this is really cool television because that's what you got the feel of it when the Knicks came on the court for warm-ups last night. As for the game, Stephon Kessel and Victor Wembanyama had fantastic games last night. Kessel, if you were just an innocent observer, not knowing anything, well, Kessel has to be the best player on the Spurs just watching last night because he was great. End of the first half, the Knicks are down 2. Jalen Brunson gets it going. Drains a 3, puts them up by 3. 2-point lead now, another deep one from Brunson, that from 29 feet out. Knicks have a 5-point lead. MSG's going nuts. At the end of the first half, I declared it over. John Starks is loving it. Nobody gave the message, though, to the Spurs. This shot is crazy. From what? I mean, Brunson's not even really looking at the basket. Draws the foul. This on top of the fact that he and Wembanyama got involved with it in the first half. Tie game at 76. Wemby came to play. How about a 7'5" guy draining a 3 is pretty normal. Dylan Harper is a superstar, folks. I think we saw it against the Timberwolves. He's certainly proven in the last 2 rounds. Puts San Antonio up by 3. Knicks have cut it to 1. When you alley-hoop to a 7'5" guy, it's probably going to work. Kessel to Wembanyama. Look at where his head is. His head is at the rim. That's just, what are you supposed to do with that? It's a 3-point San Antonio lead. It's a 4-point game. Wemby gives it up. Big-time shot knocked down from Kessel. Puts him up by 7. OG Anunoby was fantastic last night for the Knicks. He scored 32, or Brunson had 32. Anunoby had 28 as he hits this corner 3. He only did it on 13 shots. The Knicks are down 2 with 9 seconds to go. This game isn't over yet. They call timeout. Again, Anunoby, there's no angle here. It's just turn around over Harper and drills it. So it's a 2-point game. Knicks have to foul. Stephon Kessel at the line hits the 2 free throws. This one was the biggie, obviously, to ice it, which he does. And San Antonio spoils the party last night in New York. The Spurs win it 115-111. Wembanyama a cool 32. Kessel at 23. And there will be no sweep. There will be no party in New York, at least tomorrow night. There will be no celebrating because this series is going to have to go back to San Antonio by virtue of the Spurs win. It is the first time the Knicks have lost a basketball game since the first round of the NFL draft. They had won 13 games in a row prior to last night. Now, remind you, the first round of the NFL draft took place on April 23rd. We've had a lot happen since then, including the Knicks haven't lost a basketball game, but they did last night as San Antonio is back into it. Game 4 is tomorrow night. That'll be back at Madison Square Garden on ABC on WDAY. And then Game 5, we now know, is necessary. That will be on Saturday night, a rare Saturday night NBA Finals game. They have not done that, I'd say, at least 20 years. They try to stay away from Saturday. Saturday is considered at this time of year is the least viewed TV sports night. But with the World Cup starting this week, and this adds for the TV nerd in me, and I'm sure there's others out there that like this stuff. I certainly do. There is some added elements here of counter-programming that are going to start on Thursday. The World Cup, as you see on our sports ticker, begins on Thursday. The United States men's national team plays Friday. The NBA saw that, and that's why they moved the finals off of its traditional Thursday start. They moved it up a day to start on Wednesday to avoid the potential of going head-to-head with Fox. Now, you say that like, well, wait a minute. The NBA audience is got to be different than the World Cup audience, and I would tend to agree, but the World Cup has an ability, and I use my dad as a perfect test case because he watches every sport when it's a big deal. He doesn't normally watch soccer ever, but when the World Cup comes around and it's on Fox, I would bet you he'll probably have it on either his tablet, his phone, or his TV. Especially if he can bet on it, I would bet that will be on. So that's why they decided to do that. So I'm interested to see what happens on Saturday with rating-wise, knowing the World Cup is going on and Fox has put matches on. We'll talk more about this with Drew tomorrow because we're going to go through our picks tomorrow. But I'm interested as well, ratings-wise, how this is going to do because Fox is loaded up. I think Fox has 70 matches that are going to be on over the air and going head-to-head with the NBA with Game 5 coming up on Saturday night. There's two other stories I want to get to here before we set up. We got a really packed guest lineup today. Excited about our show coming up. The story we talked about yesterday, it broke as we were on the air, on Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby and the judge in Texas that overturned, or the best way to describe it is just utter chaos, to allow a man who was admittedly bet on his own team and was suspended by the NCAA to now an injunction has been filed on his behalf, and he is going to be allowed to play this upcoming season. He'll be suspended for the first 2 games of the year, but barring other court action, Sorsby is going to be allowed to play. And let me tell you something. Everybody lost their collective minds from about noon on yesterday because I follow on my social media accounts numerous college football, either reporters, insiders, you name it. It just kept getting worse as the day went on in terms of reaction around the sport. I'll read this from Pete Thamel from ESPN.com. The reaction around college sports was nearly unanimous. By the way, that never happens in college sports. So if you get a nearly unanimous reaction, it has to be bleeping bad. With the idea of Sorsby playing in 2026 after admitting to thousands of bets on sports, including 40 on his own team, representing the latest crossroads for an industry that has faced a dizzying number of them in recent years. It got so bad, our guy Gene Taylor, who's going to be in town next week for the Roger Maris Celebrity Golf Tournament, was interviewed by one Ross Dellinger from Yahoo Sports and was asked about this particular deal allowing Sorsby to play because Texas Tech will play Kansas State this upcoming football season. And I've had sometimes the displeasure of getting on Gene's bad side during his time here. Not every story was going to be rosy. I know there were times that I angered him either with a story or question. Or his temperature runs hot is the best way to describe it. That's why I love him. And yesterday, he did not hold back about it. He told Ross Dellinger, we've had some serious conversations about it. There's still a lot to be discussed. This is about not playing Texas Tech. We aren't scheduled to play them this year, but it's something we have to look at from a college football perspective. This is greater than the Big 12. He was on the record here when he said, you can bring up the graphic, it's effing bull bleep. He said that on the record to Ross Dellinger. I know the kid has a problem. Well, get well and focus on your problem. It's absolutely devastating for him to be able to play when every other sport, no matter the level, deems an athlete ineligible or they are punished severely for betting on their team. I mean, it's as clear as crystal here. Nebraska's athletic director, Troy Dannon, sent a text to all of his coaches saying, we are not playing Texas Tech. If you are scheduled to play Texas Tech, come talk to me because we're not playing them. The Big Ten has gathered together. They're going to meet either today or tomorrow, again, to get them on board. It says Big Ten officials are expected to discuss in the upcoming days a league-wide mandate to not schedule Texas Tech in any sports in the regular season, per 3 Big Ten sources. So it's just, to get anybody to agree on this, that tells you how bad a decision this is. And we talked about it yesterday, the hypocrisy that laid out yesterday in the wake of what happened in Grand Forks with the NCAA hammering, and I'll say hammering UND because I think they did in terms of not necessarily on the field, but it's off the field in terms of the recruiting and not being able to talk to anybody in the portal the first week it opens. That's a big deal for an FCS school. And then on the same breath, this is allowed to happen. Guy that bet on his own team is going to be allowed to play. Florida Athletic Director Scott Strickland told ESPN he was stunned, even recalling Major League Baseball's 1919 Black Sox scandal, when 8 players from the Chicago White Sox took bribes to lose the World Series to the Reds. Read 8 Men Out now. If you need some summer reading, read it. As someone who grew up reading about the Black Sox scandal and seeing what happened to Pete Rose and just understanding how bright that line seems to be in all of American sports, I'm stunned that there be a question at the court level that this is acceptable. That's not a judgment on the young man. It's just that was a pretty fundamental tenet of American sports, that if you're going to participate, you can't gamble, especially on your own team. It's just shake your heads here. The Big 12 athletic directors are set to have a conference call today with Commissioner Brett Yormark. According to sources and in a statement made to ESPN, Yormark confirmed meetings will occur this week. It's unknown how much purview the league will have as the judge ruling is law. Now, I believe if I read correctly yesterday, the Big 12 has some bylaws that they can take punishments against Texas Tech for something detrimental to the league, which this would certainly fit under that. If I'm no lawyer, no judge, but that would certainly seem like it may fit the bill on that. So we will follow this. Telling you what, folks, you thought when the games start, I think people take a deep breath, like, all right, we can just enjoy, because the off season, especially in college football, when it starts, whenever, in January, to when we get to August, it is non-stop. There's just something every day to talk about, and it makes you shake your head. Just wild. More on that later on in the show. We have a packed guest lineup here on this Tuesday. It's brought to us by Northwestern Mutual. And in just a few minutes, we'll be joined by North Carolina shortstop Jake Schaffner, former Bison shortstop who was a 2-year star at North Dakota State in the Summit League. He now is the starting shortstop for the Tar Heels, part of that rally that sent UNC to Omaha. They will be playing at the College World Series on Friday against Ole Miss. We'll visit with him just a few minutes coming up. We're excited about that, to have Jake back on our show. Mike McFeely will join us at 9:35. I'm sure Michael has some thoughts on the Brendan Sorsby case. We'll also chat a few other topics with Mike, as we usually do at 9:35. Our second hour will be joined by Drew Kessel, the newest member of the Moorhead Spud football team, and also the 2027 North Dakota State football class. We'll chat with Drew about both of those topics, and then we'll wrap the show up at 10:35 with Brian Mistro, now moving from the sidelines to administration, taking over as University of Jamestown athletic director. We had that story on yesterday. He's always electric. I'm sure he'll give us the energy that we need at the end of our program today. So, a lot to get to here over the next 90 minutes or so. We'll take our first break. We come back. Jake Schaffner on, heading to Omaha again and playing for a couple years in Fargo. That's coming up when Hot Mike returns after this.
This is Hot Mike with Dom Izzo, presented by Northwestern Mutual.
Welcome back, everybody. Hot Mike off and rolling on a Tuesday. You're looking at the final 8 teams that are alive for the Men's College World Series. Begins Friday in Omaha. The first game out of the chute will feature Troy and West Virginia. Not necessarily we thought 2 teams would be there. Later Friday will be the University of North Carolina against Ole Miss, which, again, for people in Fargo, like, what are you talking about, North Carolina and Ole Miss? Well, as luck would have it, both of those teams have guys that played baseball at North Dakota State as recently as last year. Landon Koenig, one from Mayport CG, pitches for the Rebels. And North Carolina starting shortstop is one Jake Schaffner, who joins us here this morning. I've had the good fortune of getting to know Jake over the last 2 years. I believe I said on the show, I don't know how long he's going to be in Fargo, folks. He's pretty darn good, and now he's part of North Carolina's standout team. It's great to see you, bud. Congratulations. I was visiting with you off air. You're going back to Omaha. I believe the last time you were in Omaha, you won the Summit League tournament, so you got some good vibes heading back to Omaha.
Yes, sir, we do. And thanks for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
So we showed yesterday the bottom of the 9th rally. Just take us through that craziness on Sunday against USC and how that played out.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of the wildest innings of baseball I've ever played in. Going from one pitch, one out in the ninth inning to a crazy walk, then another single with like a 7 pitch count, and then I had a sac fly, another walk, and then USC actually missed a pop fly they probably should have caught in foul territory that probably would have sent the game to extras, but they missed it, and then we hit a double to win the game. So it was an incredible inning.
Coming up to the plate, you're down 3-2. What's your mindset up there, knowing, hey, a fly ball, we tie it? Is that what you're trying to go up there and do that?
Yes, sir, I was. I wasn't really thinking a lot because I was a little nervous. I'm not gonna lie. I heard my legs shaking a little bit, but yeah, I was just trying to get the ball in the air and hit it as far as I can because they'll probably score Cooper on third base. So that was really all I was trying to do.
So you got it when you hit it. Like, okay, that's gonna be deep enough after you make contact.
Yeah, I thought for a second I was like, oh my gosh, should I get all that? And I was like, nah, there's no way. So I was happy with the sac fly.
So we showed that play yesterday, the one you're talking about on the foul ball that they dropped. And baseball is so weird like that, Jake. You know this better than anybody, that something like that happens. Did the dugout come alive and say, okay, we got a second chance here to win this thing?
Yeah, we kind of knew. So I feel like every time something like that happens, like a drop fly ball or a drop third strike that like it ticks and it goes to that catcher's mitt, like something good's gonna happen for the offense. So we kind of had a good feeling that once he dropped that fly ball, we're like, yeah, Owen's gonna come up here and do some damage, and ended up being a double in the next pitch. So it worked out pretty well in our favor.
So you've been involved in some pretty good dog piles. What was that one like?
Oh, it was incredible. I mean, we didn't really dogpile just because we were freaking out. Like Owen was running around the outfield, kind of. The one that hit the walk-off was running around the outfield, kind of crazy. So we were just following him for the most part. But it was incredible feeling coming down, being down the whole game, losing the first game of the series, ended up coming back in the ninth inning and winning it. It was an incredible experience.
I'm glad you mentioned that because obviously they won Friday. What's the mindset going in? Okay, we're at home, but now we're the visitors on Saturday. What was the mindset going into Saturday's game?
Yeah, one thing that Coach Forbes said was that it wasn't going to be easy. And we knew USC was a really good team, so we knew we had to play our butts off no matter what. And when they won on Friday, we were like, okay, we got to lock it in here. We got to play our best baseball the next 2 days because this could be it. Like we could be done playing baseball for this year. So it was kind of an optimistic mindset going into Saturday and Sunday, and kind of knew that we were going to get the job done.
So now it's reality. You're telling me you're leaving tomorrow for Omaha. What's the 24 hours been like to get ready for the biggest spot in college baseball?
Yeah, it's been amazing. Yesterday we had team lift. They were having team practice, team dinner, and a team movie. So we got a pretty busy day with the team today, and it should be a blast. So it's been a whirlwind. It's been incredible, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's been amazing.
Expectations are high with North Carolina baseball. That's why you transferred there. That's why you signed there. But it's one thing to believe it. It's another thing to go do it. Have you let your mind go there? Like we're gonna be playing in Omaha in a couple days?
For sure. I mean, I feel like you kind of have to. I went to Omaha in 2019 because we had a good family friend that played for Michigan Wolverines, and they ended up making the final that year. So a bunch of people from Janesville, my hometown, went and saw him play. So it was incredible seeing that. And now I'm going to play in Omaha, and a lot of my family's good friends are going to watch. So it's kind of like it's amazing. I'm kind of speechless when I talk about it because it's that incredible. I'm very excited and very fortunate that I get to do it with this group of guys.
You're hitting 358 this year, man. I think transitioning from the Summit League to the ACC has treated you well, but we're watching some highlights of you from this season. Tell me about this transition and why does it look so easy for you? I know it isn't, but why does it look that way for you in going to North Carolina?
Yeah, I think North Dakota State helped me out a ton in that transition just because that we played such a hard non-conference schedule my freshman and sophomore year. So I was kind of used to seeing the velo, used to seeing all three pitches that were pretty plus pitches in the zone. So I think I credit that to help me a ton. And then getting here, the coaching staff has helped me so much. They've really looked into in the details, like the little details in my swing, and they've made some minor tweaks and ticks. And it's been incredible getting to work with the great coaching staff that we have at North Carolina. They really helped me out so much.
I know you got to play at some big spots up here because you played at LSU and a couple others, but has there been one since you were right in Chapel Hill, like, boy, this is big time baseball stuff?
Yeah, for sure. I think there's two that come out to me. Number one, we played Clemson away at Clemson. And that was a really cool experience. I mean, the fans, they're pretty fun to be there. And the stadium was awesome. It was a great college town, so that was really cool. And then the ACC tournament, we played Georgia Tech in the championship, And it was in Charlotte, North Carolina, so there was a lot of North Carolina fans there. And it was just incredible hearing the Tar Heel chants and seeing fans out in the outfield that were Carolina blue, and it was awesome.
Did you get a chance to get to a Carolina basketball game this year? I know it's during the end or the start of your baseball season, but did you get a chance to go to the Dean Dome at all?
I did. I was fortunate enough to go to the Duke North Carolina game at North Carolina when they hit the buzzer beater, and we got to rush the court twice. So it was pretty incredible.
So that's a little game. What was that experience like?
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, everyone thought that North Carolina was going to lose just because Duke is the number one team in the country, and they think they might have lost one game before that, and then we go out there and we were kind of down the whole game, and then Seth Trim lets that buzzer beater to win it, and it was, oh my God, I can't even. The feeling was crazy.
Jake, tell me about your experience in Fargo, and obviously you guys go win the Summit League tournament. Yeah, you'll win a game in the NCAA tournament. We haven't had a chance to talk since then. So what was it like after the season got done, and how crazy did your phone get after the year wrapped up?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, first of all, North Dakota State was some of the best 2 years of my life. I made some lifelong friends there. And between my friends, my teammates, my coaching staff, the support staff there was just incredible. And every single person I met there was amazing. Like you said, winning the conference tournament in Omaha and getting to go to that Fayetteville Regional was one of the best experiences of my life. And we had so much fun doing that along the way. I think our team was very close-knit and just a very, very fun group with the coaching staff and the teammates. So it was amazing. And then, yeah, I mean, once I entered the transfer portal, it was for like the ride home from Fargo to Janesville was 8 hours. And I think I was on the phone the whole entire way home. So it was pretty crazy. I mean, I was getting calls I was on the phone for a good week, almost every single minute of the day. It was stressful, to say the least.
That sounds overwhelming, but did it get to the point where, boy, that validated you that I think I'm pretty good, but these schools are telling me they want me, that's maybe even more than I thought I was that good?
I mean, I don't really know. It was just, I didn't really think about it that way. I was just thinking dang, North Carolina just texted me, Alabama just texted me. It was just cool to see that those texts come in and all these colleges that wanted to have me play baseball there. It was a pretty cool experience because I grew up watching these schools on TV when I was younger. So it was very cool.
All right. So how many of your team, I know you have some other transfers on your team, but how many, how good is the baseball in the upper Midwest? How good is it in North Dakota or Wisconsin? Did you get that when you arrived there?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think everyone kind of hates a little bit. Everyone from the South hates on Wisconsin, Midwest, North Dakota baseball. I mean, that's how they're raised. They think the South baseball is way better. And, I'm telling them hey guys, Wisconsin baseball, North Dakota baseball, Midwest baseball is not so bad. We got some good players from there. And I think that it's coming to light more just with Wisconsin baseball, Midwest baseball. And so I think people are starting to realize more now that Midwest baseball isn't really a joke. It's good baseball.
Two last things for you, bud. I appreciate you doing this. We mentioned off the top, so your game on Friday is with Ole Miss. And, of course, as luck would have it, Landon Koenig pitches for Ole Miss. Describe how rare this is. There are two Bison going to be playing each other at the College World Series.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, Landon was one of my best friends at North Dakota State, and we still text each other all the time. So it's just so cool getting to play him in Omaha, after going to two different schools. I mean, I wouldn't have expected this at all. And it's so I'm speechless. It's so cool getting to play Landon in Omaha. It's amazing.
So before we let you go, is there anything that you've been to it as a fan, but when you get out there on Thursday, is there anything you want to do to say, okay, I'm here. I've arrived?
Yeah, I think just when I go out to shortstop in the first inning of the game, I kind of just want to go out there and just take a look, do a 360 of the stands. I think that'll be incredible, and then kind of just take a deep breath and hopefully get to work then. So I'm just really excited to go out there at the shortstop for the first time and kind of see all the fans, hopefully seeing a lot of Carolina blue in the stands too.
Well, I just realized I wore unintentionally a Carolina blue color here for you today. I didn't even do that on purpose, but it's great. It's great to see you, man. Thanks so much for doing this. Safe travels. We'll be watching on Friday, okay?
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate that.
Good
Have
to
a
see
nice
you, bud.
day.
Yeah, you too, man. There he goes. Jake Schaffner, former North Dakota State shortstop. Now he plays shortstop at the University of North Carolina. Tar Heels will play Ole Miss Friday night in Omaha at the College World Series. That's on the bucket list as well. It gets dropped down. There's so many in this part of the world that have gone. I've never been. The Jackman, I think, would enjoy that. That might be something down the road we do because I've heard it's on the must thing for a baseball fan, and I am a rube on that. I'd love to see it in person. And the old Rosenblatt, I love watching it when it was on TV. It wasn't on his TV as much as it is now, but seeing it's man, that place looks fantastic. And Obviously, we've got a couple local angles to keep an eye on. We're working on trying to get Landon on as well. Hopefully we can before their game on Friday. We'll break. We come back. Our guy Mike McFeely waiting in the wings. We'll chat with Mike on everything happening in the world of sports. We'll do that when Hot Mike returns on WDAY Extra after this.
Oh, it's Mr. McFeely.
I have seen the future, and he was wearing number 5, and I ain't talking about Robbie Grimsley, folks.
Took out the muffins, took out the trail mix, took out the cookies. They stole the monster cookies.
Wow, that's awesome. That is so awesome. Let's do some broadcasting.
Mike's appearance on Hot Mike is brought to you by Sunset Lanes of Moorhead.
Yes, it is. As we welcome in our guy Mike, his appearances we mentioned each and every Tuesday brought to us by Sunset Lanes. Go over and get a membership now. You can bowl all summer long for, was it $40?
$40. I'm going to go over there later today. It's supposed to be kind of a crummy day.
It's not
out.
going to be great.
It sounds
muggy.
like there's a front coming through. We're having storms coming through, allegedly.
Good night to bowl.
Yeah, be a good afternoon, good night to bowl.
Let's start. I have a couple things here because I want to get your thoughts on the next thing that makes college sports on fire that's gone down yesterday. Real quick, last night, Game 3. Spurs get back into it, beat the Knicks.
So New York City, which I love. Let's make that clear before I, get death threats from New York City, because people there.
we have a huge viewing audience.
We have a huge number of people who watch on Manhattan. I love New York City. It's the greatest city I've ever been to by a million miles. I'd go back there every month of my life if I could. But they're allegedly tough in New York City, right? I mean, and when you walk down a street in New York City and you don't properly walk,
you got to have your head up, right?
You will be told in no uncertain terms that you do unthinkable things to your mother and that you should go die somewhere. All right? So they play the role of tough guy, right? They're whining right now in the Big Apple about the officiating. About the officiating. Because stop.
The coach started it
because
last
the
night.
coach, who's been fired 6 times, is saying, well, there was a disparity in fouls and a disparity in free throws. Can we get this out of the way right now? And I just tweeted our mutual friend Tim Purden, who's an adopted New Yorker, thinks he's one of them. There is no rule. There's no rule that says the fouls have to be even and the free throws have to be even.
Yeah.
If you foul me more than I foul you, the numbers are going to be unbalanced.
Yes.
And I'm going to shoot more free throws than you.
Yep.
That's the way it works. Here's an idea. Don't foul as much. Play better defense. And oh, by the way, when somebody walks into a room and takes a breath and Jalen Brunson goes, ah, and falls back 6 feet, at some point, the officials can't call every single time that he's flailing his arms, falling to the floor, and flopping like a dead crappie. So just shut up. Win the game.
Well,
win the game.
I will just
everything was roses
when
they were beating San Antonio, which is fine. And then all the bandwagon jumper celebrities got their courtside seats. The doughhead in D.C. shows up at the game. They lose the game. And what's the first thing they do?
Complain about the
They
officials.
whine.
Yeah.
You know, there's no whining in New York City. There's no whining in New York City. You can't.
I would only say that the officials did miss the call on Wemby ripping Brunson almost his head off earlier in the game. They didn't call that. I'll just say that.
You're not. There's going to be missed calls.
They will miss calls. Yes, that was blatant to me.
Because how do you officiate an NBA game? Good luck.
Right.
It's gotten so physical. It's gotten so physical.
Yes.
You can't call every foul.
I agree.
So you have to draw a line and say, okay, unless his arm comes off, it's not a foul. And if that's the line you're going to set early in the game, if the officials set the line early in the game that if you touch him, it's a foul, they'll adjust. But if you let it go and you can shiv a guy and not get called for a foul, they're going to shiv a guy every time.
Correct. Because nothing can get away with it.
Next.
Right? Our guy Gene Taylor was kind of heated yesterday.
He was fired up like I am about the New Yorkers. I love New York, but stop whining.
I know.
Golly.
So your 2 cents on the Brendan Sorsby case
it's the
and where we're
dumbest
going
thing
now.
ever. It's the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah.
The guy placed 9,000 bets worth $90,000 and bet on games involving his team.
Correct.
And he is going to be playing for now.
Yes.
He's going to be playing for now. Because Texas Tech, which apparently is being run by some guy that just has a bunch of money.
Cody Campbell is his name.
Yep. He runs college football now, apparently.
It certainly does the Big 12.
They went and found, as they're all doing now, a friendly judge who probably has a Texas Tech
I believe he does.
degree on his wall in his office someplace, and he gave a favorable ruling. And so this guy's apparently going to play, and everybody, rightly so, is ticked off about it because what are we doing?
Right.
What are we doing? I mean, there was a time when a school, if a kid was betting, the school would say, "You're done.
Yes,
we're
correct.
done. We don't have anything to do with you because this is just poison. You're done. You're gone." Texas Tech is saying, "No, there's no rules
Is
for
this
us."
guy that good? Is he that good a
I don't
player?
know. I don't know.
I mean, they're to risk this going down.
But what are they risking?
Well, it's true. They got it.
They're
It's
risking
approved.
nothing.
Yeah. Pete Thamel just reported, don't expect any immediate action from the Big 12 on the Brendan Sorsby ruling. The Big 12 has defined a process to address it, which begins with an AD call today. Well, our guy Gene might be very vocal on that call.
As he
from
was
Kansas
yesterday,
State.
yes.
The Big 12 Executive Board will meet Thursday to discuss options. The whole thought of them not – I mean, they could go down the nuclear route and not play Texas Tech. I mean, we could get to that place.
Okay.
Holy cow.
Was it like 2 years ago when a couple of kids from Iowa State
I just got an email about that.
got caught like gambling like $5 or something? It was nothing close to what this guy was
$10 bet.
doing. And those guys were gone.
Banned for the season.
They're banned for the year. And it was like a major scandal.
Yes.
This guy's like an addicted gambler, which I mean that
Has an issue.
But that's not an excuse to do it.
Nope.
It's I mean you can't.
There's one rule.
It doesn't.
There's one rule in sports is not to bet, and he did it.
Well, but I mean, we've talked about this before.
I guess not bet on your own team. I know.
When all you have to do is this.
Yep.
This. I mean, with all the things that are just burning the world down right now, AI, all these different things that we're trying to figure out, and we're not going to. That's a whole different show. This right here and the gambling apps.
The accessibility to it.
The accessibility to it and the ease with which you can place bets.
Yep.
It's where this is going to go is people are just going to be absolutely floored. Like I truly believe there are like guys out there that have tens of thousands of dollars of debt from gambling on their phones that their wife and family know nothing about. Like the guy's got two different phones. I just
2 different lives, basically.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
there's
there's stories of kids, in high school I've heard, not athletes necessarily, but ringing up thousands of dollars in gambling debt with a phone,
right? Because it's right there.
Because it's the DraftKings halftime show and I mean,
the FanDuel intermission report,
and we talk about the lines on NDSU football games, we're as guilty as anybody in, I guess, putting it out there. But part of that is just the reflection of the truth.
Yes.
I mean, it's available. You can bet.
Correct.
NDSU is favored by 10 points over Jacksonville State, and your dad's got already got some of the action going.
Yes.
Right? But your dad is not a college athlete.
No. And he's also responsible. I think he knows when is enough to be done.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just that's I'm old, but that's in my lifetime of all the changes I've seen in sports.
That's the one.
That's one that's really like it still strikes me as like wow, because there was a time not that long ago when it was absolutely taboo to talk about gambling,
betting
and
lines.
sports and betting lines. They wouldn't put teams in Vegas like the professional leagues would not put franchises in Las Vegas because they didn't want to be seen as dirty.
Endorsing it, yes.
Right.
And we got to go to break, but
And where's the Mountain West College Conference offices located right now?
And also,
where are we going in a month?
Yeah, and also where the college football national championship game is this year
It's gonna be
is
in
Las Vegas.
Yep.
And the Final Four the next year is in Las Vegas. There you go.
So it's just, So good luck.
Speaking of old, that's a perfect segue because we got to talk about video games. Video games on Hot Mic.
We do.
You want to do that? We'll do that. And the Bison lost a top recruit yesterday. That's another thing that's part of this new world of the Mountain West. We'll get Mike's thoughts on that one. Hot Mic returns on WDAY Extra after this.
This is Hot Mic with Dom Izzo, presented by Northwestern Mutual.
All right, wrapping up our first hour, back with our guy, Mike McFeely. So story came down, Michael, about 8 o'clock last night. North Dakota State football lost its first commit for the 2027 class. Guy we have on the show, Pewaukee, Wisconsin's Jack Tabbert, has flipped from North Dakota State to a little school called the University of Wisconsin, being a Wisconsin native. Big kid, 6'4", had a bunch of offers. He actually turned down a flight. He's an offensive lineman. Turned down a trip to New Mexico to commit to NDSU originally back in late March.
You know why he did that? Because he knows he's going to be coached by Jason Eck next year anyway. so that's
wow.
So that's why
there you go.
You know, he's going to end up with Eck anyway.
Well,
look. Okay, NDSU has always lost kids.
They have.
Whether they were FCS, FBS, and they're losing them to
a Big Ten
power
school.
schools, right? There's a running back that went to Iowa, Carson Hansen out of I think Eden Prairie,
Lakeville South.
Lakeville South, same thing. It's all the same.
Cake eaters.
He committed to NDSU 4 or 5 years ago, flipped to Iowa State, and now he's at Penn State.
with
it's
Matt
like
Campbell.
Okay,
yep.
It happens once a year, I think.
Sometimes more than that.
Right.
And there's the thing now with this being my point on the Mountain West is that the level of recruit they're trying to get is higher. And now that also means, and you know this, anytime NDSU offers, that means the schools that didn't like, oh, wait a minute, if NDSU offered them, we got to get in the mix on
I don't know that they're. I mean, this kid was offered as an FCS recruit, right? I mean, I don't know that there's a huge difference in what NDSU is trying to recruit compared to before. My point is they've always lost kids to bigger schools, and everybody else is going to as well, right? Because especially with, you and Kolpak talked about this yesterday, there's kids committing now in...
Correct.
Like, there's a kid that committed last year in 2025 to NDSU. The earlier you commit, the kids have not been to camps yet.
Nope.
The camp season, SZN, is just going on right now. And so
that's where Tabbert was
yesterday.
And so
the kid comes to camp or he goes to another camp and they look at him and go, well, okay, there's something there. He's 6'5", 240, and he's 17 years old. So, okay, we'll offer you. What have we got to lose? I'm going to be out of a job anyway after the season, so I'll be collecting my buyout after the season anyway.
Well, and that's the thing. If you have a good recruiting class, that certainly sets up well for the next coach.
Right.
That whoever ends up being, if Wisconsin does move on.
I mean, whatever. I mean, it happens. It's a tough loss for NDSU.
Totally.
There might be more.
Well, right. It's June. What was it? June 9th? We got a long way before signing day.
The kids are going to all these camps.
Yeah, 6
and
months.
They're still making official visits. I don't follow this stuff super closely, but there's like kids who are committed to one school, and I'm not talking about any NDSU kids, but they're committed to one school, but they're going on an official visit to somebody else.
Correct.
Because they want a trip to Penn State or wherever.
Tell me how great I am, and maybe I get an offer out of it.
Yeah, I mean, so
absolutely, it's the game, man.
It's the game, so good for them, but it's not unusual, and so anybody it's whatever. That's college football.
Well,
kids have always flipped.
By
the way, NDSU has flipped kids too.
They have. Completely have.
The defensive end is playing for NDSU right now. Committed to Syracuse.
Oh, Stenbrotten. Yep.
NDSU flipped him last year.
Yeah.
The running back that got hurt this year, Braylon Tolliver. He was committed to Oregon State.
Yep.
NDSU flipped him to NDSU.
Correct. This is a perfect response, I thought, that I got last night. Dom, this is honestly why I only stay lukewarm to commitments this early, especially.
Yes.
Dig deep in it when fall camp comes around with the rivals. That's probably the best way if you're a fan to probably not
I mean,
too
it
excited
helps
about
to have a kid commit, obviously, because that means you've impressed him to the point that he's going to commit to your program.
Correct.
But there's nothing signed yet.
No, we got a long 6
I mean,
months to signing day here.
I mean, and NDSU is doing this. I'm sure, I don't know this. I'm making an assumption that's accurate. That they're still calling kids who are committed to other places.
Huh?
Yeah, it's true.
They never would do that.
Yep. Because all these coaches continue to recruit the kids, even because
up until the
because if some
name
kid
is
goes,
signed.
just to name a school, kid goes to Minnesota, says I'm a Gopher, and then he starts to go, boy, I don't know if I like this. And his parents are like, well, I don't know.
Yep.
And so if you're a football coach, you continue to recruit the kids. So if the kid goes, you know what, I just don't want to go to this place anymore. And then boom.
By the way, that just happened. The Gophers lost a guy to Nebraska.
Oh, okay. I mean,
so the Gophers they lost a defensive end commit to the Huskers.
Yeah. So
it just happened on Sunday night. So there you go.
It's whatever.
Yeah.
They all end. It's going to happen to everybody at some point.
Tell me, how much do you know about College Football 27 and what this could potentially bring?
Only what
next
I've
month?
read at inforum.com from what you wrote and just digging around the interwebs a little bit.
There's some financials to this, Michael, that could be okay for the
we'll
school.
See. We'll see what it means. Missouri State, as Ryan Collingwood, our buddy from Springfield, Missouri, reported that Missouri State got $100,000 roughly from being the 68th most played team in FBS or whatever.
Right.
You'd assume NDSU would have a better following than that and more people would play it, but I don't know the way it works. I don't know how they register that.
That's beyond me as well.
I'm just trying to figure out how to do a vertical video for my bosses so that they stay happy. Don't know what any of this means, but so whatever.
Yeah.
It seems to be a big thing among the kids.
No doubt. When I visited with a couple of the players the day of the press conference. We were at the Shack about the Mountain West move. To a T, they all said, we're going to be in the video game. Yeah. So unprompted, they said that to me. Like, that's a big deal for them.
And these video games are, like people who are like 50 now can still be heavy gamers. When I was a kid,
here we go.
It was the tabletop Pac-Man at the Alexandria bowling alley. But it's for years now. For decades. It's been the home systems with PlayStation or Xbox or whatever.
Well, mine was the Super Nintendo. Was my big one. I had.
You guys were.
Yeah.
You said
I
had collar.
I had the Nintendo.
You cannot be blue collar and have Super Nintendo.
Well, it was between that and the Sega Genesis. I didn't have the Sega Genesis.
Okay,
I had the Super Nintendo because Mario was my guy. I had Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt was what I started.
And every old person says this, and Troy Gergen said it to you about the Pong thing. Yeah. My cousin, who was much older than I was, weird, family things going on, just old people, whatever. At their house, they had in their basement the original, I think it was Atari, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The Atari
That's what Pong was on. No kidding, the original.
And we're talking like this is the 70s. So like
that's awesome.
Like the little line and the ball. Then you can make the line bigger.
Yeah.
The bing, bing. So yes, I played the original Atari Pong in its.
Were you any good at it?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Just as good as you are at bowling.
#athlete.
At Sunset Lanes.
Yes,
which you might be able to see Mike there later today.
Well, we'll be there at some point, yes. I don't want to crowd people, so I'm not going to say when I'm going to be there, but I will be there sometime today.
Thanks for coming by, bud.
Yes.
Mike's appearances each and every Tuesday are brought to us by Sunset Lanes over in North Moorhead. We'll break. We come back. We'll start our second hour. Drew Kessel will join us about transferring to Moorhead and joining the Bison recruiting class of 2027.
SPU-UDS. SPU-UDS. Go Spuds!
That's coming up. We come back.
This is Hot Mike.
Hot Mike.
On the networks of WDAY. Here's Dom Izzo.
Welcome back, everybody. Hour 2 on this Tuesday morning, ready to rock and roll. So we featured it yesterday on our Best of the Weekend story that we had on Friday heading into a crazy sports weekend, keeping an eye on the local football recruiting world, and the big one that popped on Friday was the announcement from Drew Kessel, his announcement that he's verbally committed to play football at North Dakota State, part of the Bison class of 2027. Also part of that he'll play football across the river for the Moorhead Spuds as well this upcoming fall, and he joins us here to start our second hour. I know it's been a busy couple of days. Thanks so much for doing this, and just tell me, after announcing it, the reaction that's come in. Anything surprised you over the last couple of days?
I would just say, like, the amount of people, like, that the Bison community has, like, just so many people, like, on Twitter and stuff, just how good of a community the Bison community is and how supportive and, like, how much people, like, congratulated me and stuff.
So tell us about this recruiting deal. For people that didn't follow, you I wouldn't say came out of nowhere, but, man, the offers started pouring in about 2 years ago, so you've been in the grinder here for a bit. What this has been like when Michigan, Wisconsin, Kansas State, Northwestern, Washington are coming in to Fargo South. What was that like to deal with that?
I mean, it was insane. I wasn't really expecting it. Like, when I was a freshman, I never really thought this was my reality, but then it just all started pouring in, and I was like, dang, this is how it's going to be. So then I just started grinding, and yeah, I mean, it was amazing. I'm very blessed, and I was super excited, and it was a really fun process.
Your older brother obviously plays for the Bison. How big a deal was that, Drew, that Reese was there, that's a place you wanted to go to?
Yeah, it was a really big deal. I mean, me and my brother, we were very close. We're a very close family, and to be able to get a chance to play with him at Division I football, it's a really cool opportunity.
So give us the lowdown on NDSU being in and how much they recruited you and not saying, hey, you can play with Reese. This we're focusing on you. Can you tell me a little bit about their strategy?
Yeah, so they definitely recruited me for me. They weren't recruiting me because I'm Reese's brother. But, yeah, they definitely like called me up. They called me all the time. They texted me all the time. And yeah, like I said, I mean, they weren't just like, oh, here's Reese's brother. I mean, we're going to go recruit him. They were looking at my skills and what I bring to the field, and that's what they said they would coach me on.
So for those that haven't seen you play, we have highlights of you play, and tell me about your ability out there as a tight end to be a weapon down the field, because it seemed like every game I would watch you play, you're making a play down the field for a lot of yards.
Yeah, so I think I'm a really good receiving tight end. I think that's where my ability is at. So I think I'm really good at tracking the ball, catching the ball, and just being able to make plays happen. And then when I need a block, I think I'm pretty decent at that as well.
Your height and your ability to go up and get it. We saw the touchdown you had against, I think, Minot North last year when you guys were playing at Fargo North. Describe that what kind of advantage that gives you over guys simply because you're taller than a lot of other people.
Yeah, I would just say, like, I mean, I want to be humble, but I guess I'm just taller, and then my ability just to run and catch, I guess that just combination just makes it so, like, when I run on the field, it just makes it pretty good against those smaller DBs. I guess I just had the advantage to go high point the ball and make plays happen.
What were the recruiters telling you, Reese, about when they saw your game? What stood out to them to say, we think you can fit into our offense? What were they saying to you?
Well, I would just say a lot of them really likes my height because, like, you can't teach height. So that's what a lot of them like. But honestly, they just like how I can develop. Like they all like when they recruit me as a tight end, they all know like I can gain a lot of weight because of my tall body. So I guess yeah, they just realize my potential of just gaining a lot of weight and be able to gain a lot of mass, and then they can see me bring that to the football field and making stuff happen.
Well, we were talking Friday. Reese has gained how many pounds already? Like 25, something crazy like that?
Oh, freaking like 35.
Okay,
a lot.
Even more than that.
He's gained a lot of weight.
Do you see yourself in that same? I know you got a couple inches on him, but you see that in the same avenue to go down in college as well?
Yeah, for sure. I think I'm going to be pretty similar to Reese. I think I can get up to like 255, 260 even, just because of the extra inches I have on him.
So I'm sure you don't brag about that at all, ever when you guys play basketball or anything like that. But what was you were up obviously at NDSU this weekend. Tell me about the reaction and talking to Coach Polisic that you were going to commit.
Oh, it was amazing. He was just talking to us, like, first just like small talk about like what we're doing at the lake and stuff, and then finally he was like, "Drew, are you ready to make your decision? You want to be a Bison?" I was like, "Yep, I want to make my decision." He got super excited, and then Coach Larson came right in the room and he was congratulating me.
What was that for you to have it done? Just to say, "This is it. I've made my decision."
It was great. It definitely put off a lot of pressure, like just to be free and just to be done with this deal. I mean, it definitely feels pretty nice.
I think the other story that came out, maybe bigger than you committing to NDSU, is you're going to play in Moorhead this coming fall.
Yeah.
Tell us about that and the decision making that you're going to transfer and play for the Spuds next fall.
Yeah, so I would say a lot of it's just like some personal reasons, but I would just say like I have a great relationship with a lot of kids at Moorhead, and I have a lot of friends there, and I just think I'm gonna have a good senior year there, and I think we're gonna go win some football games there.
So, I mean, you know the talent in the area. You know that team has 4 Division I commits alone on the roster. How do you see yourself fitting in with a Jed Feeney, a David Mack, a Tay Rich, and Zach Walker?
I think I can definitely just be an extra weapon on offense. Just for Jet, I mean, if just an extra option. I mean, if he sees me, I mean, I guess I'll always be able to be an option to catch the ball and make plays. And then on defense as well, I think I can make plays happen on there too if they need me.
Man, I'm just thinking about this team, about how crazy this is going to be offensively. Have you let your mind go there yet about what this potentially could be this fall?
I mean, I haven't thought about it too much, but yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a good time.
How much, Drew, is competition level a big thing for you? And I'll just say, you're going to be playing in the top class in Minnesota. How big a draw was that for you to want to go do this?
Yeah, so I would say I'm definitely a competitor, and I like the highest of competition. So to be able to play 6A football in Minnesota, I think that's gonna be a super fun opportunity.
I want to talk to him a little bit more about your relationship with your older brother. Describe watching what Reese did this past year for NDSU and how big a deal that was for you and your family to see him blossom the way he did this past fall.
It was amazing. I'm super proud of him, and to be able to watch my own brother go make plays, it's super cool.
So last fall, Coach Polisic told me that he was one of the fastest guys on the team, which I had to take a double take. Is that accurate? I'm sure you've raced against one another before. Where does the speed come from?
I have no idea, honestly. I mean, Reese, he was also a really good track athlete as well. So I think that definitely had something to do with his speed. But I mean, I don't know. I guess just more in like the tight end room. I think just because we're both like receiving tight ends, I think that's where he's really fast.
So you guys played some hoops as well. Can you tell us about the matchups for you and him on the basketball court growing up? What was that like?
It was great. We always competed and we always just bragged. And then like if we played pig or something, whoever wins, we would definitely brag to each other for the next week.
A couple last things here before I let you go, and I appreciate you doing this morning. What was this like for your family to tell? Let's start with Reese. What was his reaction? You told him you were gonna commit to NDSU.
He was super excited. He was super pumped.
How about for your family as well? Tell me about that, because I know I visited with your mom, and she was nervous about the potential of having to travel for 2 different locations. Yeah. Now she's not gonna have to do that.
Yeah, they were super happy, and then even for like my grandparents, because they all live super close to me, just for the opportunity for like my grandma and grandpa to be able to come to the game and not have to travel so far, I think that's super nice.
My last thing, bud, and I appreciate you doing this morning. How big a deal was NDSU now in the Mountain West as an FBS school? Did that affect your decision to come there?
Yeah, I would say overall it definitely impacted a lot. I mean, FBS and FCS, I would say it's a pretty big difference. I mean, just money-wise and all that. And then just overall the competition. Obviously, I like the higher competition. So, I mean, I think that's going to be super cool. And, yeah.
I appreciate you doing this, man. Congratulations. I know you've been a busy dude over the last few days. Thanks so much for doing this. Congratulations. Enjoy some of the summer, and we'll catch up when we get closer to football season, all right?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
There he goes. Drew Kessel joining us here, now a Moorhead Spud. As part of the Bison class of 2027. And I think when I did the story on Friday, and when he told me initially, and I admittedly, I was out of the loop on this, so I'll take a little bit of the heat. I like to stay on top of that stuff, so I did not know. And I actually had, if I go back and watch the interview I did with him on Friday, you could actually see the genuine shock on my face when he told me that he was going to transfer to Moorhead. And he said it there. There's some personal reasons on why, and I will explore that as best I can. May not get far, but I think we can take out of that a couple things. I think competition level is a big deal there. And that's going to sound like an indictment on Fargo South, and if it does, then that's facts. The truth can't be controversial. Fargo South plays in 2A football, and playing against the likes, and this is going to, again, sound like I'm taking shots at Valley City or Kindred or Central Cass. It's not, at least for Drew's exact example, that's not something apparently he was maybe ready to sign up for another year. And looking at what Moorhead has, clearly that they're going to be the number one preseason ranked team in 6A. I don't think, again, that's saying anything that's going out on a limb. And the ability to play against the best competition. I think there's something to be said about that. Now, you want to look at it the other angle of it, like, well, wait a minute. Like, kids going from Fargo to Moorhead, like, how's that, legal, or what's the precedent on that? I would tell you, the hockey community in Fargo would be screaming at the top of their lungs if they were listening to this program, and maybe they are watching this program now, because it's happened before. We know it, that there have been kids that have lived in Fargo and transferred over because they could play for the Spud hockey team. My guy Dean Wilson could probably fill 2 hours alone on talking about that. I know, because he's done it. He's told me about it. So this is not new territory. It's new territory in football, and that might rub people the wrong way. But I'll tell you this, folks, honestly, if you think transferring only is a college issue, it's not. It probably happens more in high school than we tend to even think about. I'm just thinking now of current Bison that I've covered or incoming recruits that have done it. Xander Smith, who's the third-string quarterback on the Bison football roster, he transferred from one school in Florida to another because it was a higher level for him to play at. Incoming wide receiver that NDSU just got for the class of 27. He went from a larger school in Florida to a smaller one, but a more successful school to get more attention, frankly, and did. Tampa Catholic, that's a school that NDSU has recruited twice. That's, I believe that's Jaquise Alexander's high school and Jalen Bussey's high school that he's now going to. So my point is, while it seems odd, why would a kid do that? It's frankly happened before. Now, the logistics of it, that's a different deal. Like, is the family actually moving? That I don't know. Something I'm working on there. From what I do understand, they have to have some sort of physical residency or physical mailing address to be eligible, I believe is how Minnesota State high school leagues work on that. That's another part of the story we'll work on, but that's the outcome on this. And you can be, rose-colored glasses on it, like, oh, that's okay. I think there's probably some other parts to it, too, that maybe others don't really want to talk about. That's the part of this that's, I don't know, sordid's not the right word. It's just because that's too aggressive on it. It's the nature of business now. High school sports is not just, hey, we're going to go out and play for our school and play for our town. I'd not say it's big business, but it's business. Even in this part of the world, it's business now. It's about winning. It's about getting noticed. And if you didn't believe that story will probably bring it home to you. So appreciate Drew's time here on the program. Let's break. We come back. We had a bunch of emails coming in. Brian Mistro due up here in about 15 minutes as well, taking over at the University of Jamestown. Hot Mic rolls on. We're back on WDAY Extra, KSFL, KMBN, and Inforum.com right after this. All right, welcome back, everybody. Brian Mistro from the University of Jamestown going to join us in about 15 minutes. Appreciate Drew Kessel coming on. Just getting caught up here on a couple different story angles, much more on the Brennan Sorsby incident. This is from earlier. Dom, just for some perspective, this is what Mike was talking about at the end of our first hour. Investigation into Iowa and Iowa State a few years ago found a couple dozen athletes in several sports had placed bets. Noah Shannon placed one $10 bet on an Iowa women's basketball game. He played football at Iowa at the time, turned himself in, and was banned for the season. Sorsby placed thousands of bets, some on his own team's games, used multiple accounts to hide his involvement until he was caught, and will face essentially no punishment. Make it make sense. Also, why should any NCAA rule or regulation be taken seriously going forward? That's the bottom line right there at the end. I don't have a great answer for you. All I'd say is I 100% agree on that. Dom, how does a high school football player just transfer across state lines to play football? I might be a noob, but want some clarification. That's a great question. Different states have different rules. North Dakota's one is pretty stringent in terms of transferring in. And if you transfer to a different school in North Dakota, that you've got to have pretty good reasoning for it. It's got to be signed off on by the State High School Activities Association. We did a story on this. Sage Hansen, who's now going to play basketball at University of North Dakota, went through this, that he left TGU, went to a prep school in Utah, tried to come back, that his dad's health was failing. That was the reasoning given, and applied to be eligible. The appeal was denied. That actually went, they took that to the state legislature, if you remember that, infamously. Appealed that. The state legislature got involved, which is a gong show in its own right. It still did not move the high school association, which then the state legislature said, well, we'll remember this. And he was deemed ineligible and had to sit out the rest of that basketball season and came back and played this past year. So different states have different rules on it. Frankly, and I'll admit this to our viewing audience here, I have not done enough on the Minnesota State transfer rules there. Something I'll dig into certainly after our show and going forward, because this seems like it's going to be something that we need to know more about, because it's not the end of this happening. So the best way, I believe you have to have a physical address to be eligible. It's the best way to answer that. Another email comes in. As someone who works with addiction and mental health, when I hear Texas Tech and their fans use his addiction as the reason to stand by him, I wonder if they realize or care that they are essentially making the argument that an alcoholic should remain as your neighborhood bartender because that is, quote, standing by him. Well said. I'm not sure I have a better, there's no response there. That's the best way to say it. Dom, I heard last night the top player from Davies football is going to Moorhead next year. Are these kids moving, or are they never setting foot in Moorhead school? They go to online school to get past the school of attendance like multiple hockey players are currently doing. That is also now another avenue, is the online part of it, which hockey has done that. I know with the Cullen Hockey School as well, and then play for the Spud hockey team. I can only say this because I have knowledge of what inside Moorhead High, intimate on that, from my wife. And that is a point of contention, I'd say, between some of the faculty. I won't speak too much out of school on that, but again, that's a way to circumvent it as well without ever having to go in person. It sounds ugly. It does, even coming out of my mouth saying it, but it just right now, businessman, and a chance to win, tries to play the highest level. You're going to do what you got to do. And is it as ugly as our topic we were hitting last week when Beth Maher was here about parents being overzealous when it comes to how coaches coach their kids? It's in that vein, you know. It's nasty, can be. Not thrilled with it either. But that's the new age right now of high school sports. And I would imagine this is not a topic I've covered a whole lot nationally, but I have to think it goes on probably way more than we even want to admit. And now it's found its way here. And maybe it's happened here more than even I mean, I've been covering local sports here for almost 20 years. And I think I could maybe count on two hands the number of times we've had a story like this. And now they seem to have bubbled up more over the last couple of years or so. And it's a different world, something that we need to be educated on to speak rationally about it, to speak, like we're not ignorant on the topic, because that's not what we want to be at all. At least I don't. I want to make sure we're giving out the correct information on what's happening here. I certainly have an opinion on it. Not my favorite, which is hypocritical, I think, of me, because I am in full favor of college athletes transferring, but I think there's a differentiation there, if I can make that, between the college athlete, which is over 18, making a adult decision, because you're an adult when you're 18 years old, at least in my mind you are, of doing that, as opposed to the high school when you're 14, 15, 16, 17, and making that decision when the parents have to be involved in that way more than in the college. I guess that's how I would differentiate between how I feel on college transfer and a high school transfer on that. It's, again, something never thought that would be crossing our plate, and here it is, right in our own backyard. Because honestly, that was a bigger part of the story on Drew Kessel than him committing to NDSU. Him committing to NDSU is a big deal. Him transferring from Fargo South to Moorhead is a bigger deal, at least for us in the more immediate part of it, because that's happening now. It's going to happen this fall, that you're going to see him playing and wearing the orange and black next fall. All right, speaking of orange and black, perfect segue. We'll take a break. We come back. New University of Jamestown AD Brian Mistro will join us on taking a new role, leaving the sidelines for the AD job. That's coming up when we come back. Welcome back, everybody. Final half hour, ready to rock and roll here on this Tuesday morning. We shared the story yesterday when it came in the old inbox on some changes afoot at the University of Jamestown. There's a new athletic director. There's a new head football coach. When I heard there's a new football coach, I'm like, wait a minute. I know the head football coach, and unless something went down that I'm out of the loop on, this deserves a phone call. And then we found out that Brian Mistro is moving from the sidelines to now the handshaker, because he's going to be the new athletic director at the University of Jamestown, and he joins us now, one of our all-time favorite guests, which I guarantee might be a bit fired up this morning. I just saw you a couple weeks ago, so did you sandbag me and not tell me you were getting a new job?
I would never lie to you. I've never sandbagged. There was nothing set in stone at all. I promise. Because I would have been like, "Hey Dom, I got something for you.
Yeah.
Here we go." But no, man, it happened fast, and how these things kind of work in athletics, right? But no, I did not purposely avoid you. I promise.
So tell us how this came about.
We had gotten wind that, and Austin and I had developed a really good relationship, and he helped me with my golf game a lot over the last couple of summers. Let's put it that way. And so I knew his trajectory, his talent, man. Like, we knew we weren't going to keep him forever. I knew he was happy here, but then when you get an opportunity to move back, home state. Yep. Higher level, all those things. My guess was like, all right, he's going to get this thing. And so, approached our president, and Polly is, she's a Jimmy through and through, right? And so I just like, hey, what does this look like? And what does it kind of mean for us? And she kind of gave me well, Brian, you should probably apply and find out. I'm like, okay. I'm going to take that and read between the lines, and let's get this thing rolling. And so, we met. It was kind of a 2-day internal thing, just talk to the coaches, talk to the cabinet members, and talk to some board members, and share my thoughts on this place and what it's done for me and the vision. And I'm a product of this as far as the holistic experience I had and the mission of the college and what we do here. And so I just kind of poured my heart out. It was really all it boiled down to. And she looked at me and she goes, "All right, are you ready to do this?" And I'm like, "Are you sure you want to turn the keys over to me?" So no, it happened quick. It happened fast. And then, we're hitting the ground running today. So we're rolling.
Did you ever consider, or they consider, doing both, of staying head coach and being AD?
Not anymore. Not after, even when I was in college, that wasn't a thing here anymore. The Lori Paulson and then Sean Johnson and then Austin, like no one, since I've been a part of Jamestown, I've heard that. I think Brad Hughes was the last one as the basketball coach and AD. And so, from my standpoint, it was never an option. That was the big question. Are you ready to be done coaching football? And that was a hard question. And to be honest with you, it's the same and it's different the way that I look at it. Now I'm coaching the coaches and I get to have relationships with a lot of the players, but I'm also being able to be over on the other side of campus, which frankly I love doing. And I was a loudmouth on this campus as a student. You could about imagine me as a coach. Like I was passing T-shirts and schedule magnets. Like the English professors hated when I walked through their offices. But it's just trying to make this place the best that it can possibly be, and having the ability to maybe have an impact on more than I've had in football and just on our kids' experience. And so I'm juiced, man.
You went right from playing to coaching. Tell me how this is abrupt. Have it clicked yet that come August you're not going to be on the sideline anymore?
No. Right? Like, I don't think anybody truly feels that until, the boys kick off in Fayette, Iowa at 3 p.m. on August 29th. Yeah. And there's a good chance I'm probably not, making the 8-hour drive now. And so, watching that or live streaming that, like, I don't have any idea where I'm going to be. My 9-year-old's going to be like, hey, why did they do that? And I'm going to be like, buddy, I don't know, man. Coach Dosh is crazy. You should have seen what he was doing back in the day. But no, it hasn't hit yet. But to be completely transparent and honest with you, when we made the move, one of the things that we did, and this place did a really good job of, was they resourced us, right? I was able to hire Coach Dosh. Coach Lehman's our DB's coach. So I wasn't coaching the special teams or DBs anymore. I kind of took that CEO-ish role. Mm-hmm. And so my X's and O's input, it started to go down anyway. And I became the relationship guy and retaining our kids and making sure that we develop them, mentally and physically and all the things that go into coaching. But, so as I started to peel back a little bit of that, I did become more involved on campus in other ways, committees and all the stuff. And I'm on our leadership committee through our Unruh School of Character and Leadership. And like, I just started to find out that I have a passion for that stuff. And so can I be a bigger picture person, a vision and mission and all the things that go into that? And I jumped on it because I do like that stuff. I can pump out a 20-page paper now, Dom, with the best of them.
To have Tom on staff, did that make it easier for you to leave?
I would be ignorant to say that, yes, it did. With Coach Dosh. So for those of you that don't know me, but when I was a punk 18-year-old kid from, Gilbert, Arizona that came up here, I thought I had all the answers. Coach Dosh shaped me as a man. And my parents did a good job of raising me, don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, like when I got up here, I learned what hard work and discipline and respect. And, to this day, I don't think I've ever called Coach Dosh anything other than Coach Dosh. He's not Tom or, that's not a thing. It's just icky to even say that, man. And so, learning the respect of the game and then being able to coach under him and watching what he did for us as Jimmies. He left this place and we were a top 10 team in the country, and then being able to be with him at Northern and the successes that they had there, and then watching him go up to UND and get a shot back, like all of the things, and then seeing him. So yesterday morning, we talked to the team at 6 o'clock in the morning at weights. We told the team, there was some faces like, what's going on? And then I said, and your new head football coach is going to be, Coach Dosh. Like the eruption of that was fun to watch. And then to watch him talk in front of the team again, like, man, I was attentive. Like I was still playing. Like it was awesome. And so, yeah, man, there's nobody better. Nobody understands Jamestown like he does in the way that we need to do to win. And then our league. He's had success in our league. And that's, I think, a huge part of this equation.
So now to transition to this new role, especially you were the guy. We talked when the announcement got made on the D2 moved, and to go through that first year, how much, maybe in the back of your mind, you want to see this through. I know there's part of it, but when an opportunity like this comes about, I'm sure it's hard to say no.
my wife looked at me and she's like, okay, you realize that if Coach Dosh goes and wins a bunch of games next year, like, it's going to be your fault that you were so bad. And I'm like, so, yeah, man, there was part of me that I knew what we were building. I knew the way that this was growing. They helped us out, and like I said, in resource. Like, we're on the right trajectory, and nobody will tell me we're not. But at the end of the day, what's best for me, my family, what I think is hopefully best for this place kept coming to fruition. And that was this place did a lot for me, Dom. And if I can give back to it in a different way that maybe impacts and multiplies that, I feel in debt to being able to try to do that. And football is a cog in the machine part of that. And obviously we're the front porch, and most football teams are. But, I wanted to see it through, but in a way I'm still going to be able to. And that's when you have head coaching changes in June, it's usually not a good thing.
Right.
I think that this is a great thing. This is going to be awesome.
How do you feel about now being handshaker and fundraiser? Because that's the deal with an AD. How does that role suit you?
Well, Dom, you met me back in 2012, man. Like, I could shake a hand with the best of them. I might have learned that from Haran, who's
pretty good.
Haran's in Ireland and his kids are getting married. Like, he didn't even know. He called me yesterday. He's like, what is going on? I'm like, TH, I've been trying to get a hold of you for 2 weeks. And so, but yeah, I love relationship building in general. And I think part of my, place on this earth, man, is like, I get to spread the good news of me and who we are as Jimmys, right? So like being able to shake hands and proverbially the shake hands, kiss baby stuff, I can come off some way as a car salesman or a slick or whatever. But like, no, dude, this is who I am. Yeah. And so you just kind of have to deal with that. But at the end of the day, the passion that I have for this place is going to shine through probably more than anything else. So I'm juiced, man. It's going to be fun.
Is there a head coaching memory you have now, like looking back on it from your early days, like, boy, I would do that way different? Is there one that stands out, a decision you made, anything like that?
There's a couple things, there's 2 things I'll point out. One was when people ask me, how's it being the head coach of your alma mater? I've always said, I wish I was the head coach somewhere else and screwed up a lot before I came here and became the head coach at my alma mater, because there was 19, 20, 21, like, man, I was 31 and 30. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. And so, yeah, I wish I would have gone through some of those struggles, maybe somewhere else, and before I really solidified what we're doing here. Because I really felt like I had the handle of it 23, 24, 20, that range. Like, all right, now I know our program and what we're doing. The one decision that kind of still I look back on and I go, well, that doesn't make a lot of sense. We faked a punt. And everybody on the headset told me no. And I think it was Midland and 21 or something like that. And I'm like, hey man, we got to surprise them. So it was like 4th and 15. It was a 25-yard. We have to get this thing. And we didn't, needless to say. And so but that one sticks out of my head because like, wow, do I look like an idiot right now? Yeah. And I remember our radio guy asked me, he's like, what were you thinking there? I'm like, well, we were trying something, man, because nothing else was working. But no, there's been a couple of those. But I also have some really awesome memories, and that's something I'll cherish forever. And my wall, if you could see my office, man, my wall is full of them, and those are going to travel with me too, because it's still a part of who I am. I just get to be able to do it differently.
So we have done a lot of interviews in this office. Does this mean you get a bigger one now the next time we visit on the show? You get a nice new office?
What's funny about that is we redid our classrooms behind the weight room. So I moved there 2 years ago. So where I'm at right now. Yeah. So the office that I'm going to was actually my old office. The AD's in my old office. I'm just going back home, baby. Here we go.
Oh, man. Is the paint bucket in that office?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, and that would be my last question of having that memory. And I remember we talked to you about it. That video went viral, Brian, of you guys won. Just, I have to imagine that's near the top of favorite memories as head coach there.
100%. Yeah. And the way that all shook down and being down 17 rip and then scoring one right before half, and then the punt block, and then, the 4-yard QB sneak for a touchdown to take the lead. Like, yeah. And then singing the school song, and then being able to do that with our family and friends for, potentially the last time or however that ends up shaking out. But it is something I still watch every once in a while. My kids will pull it up and be like, hey, Dad, remember this? Yeah. And that brings back some really cool memories for a lot of us.
It's great to catch up. Congratulations on the new gig. I've always appreciated our friendship. I look forward to you taking on a new role, and we're going to miss you on the sideline. I know that, but I know you're going to do well at your new job. Thanks so much for doing this, and have a great summer, okay?
Hey, get Jack on the sideline. Let's go. We'll bring him over. I promise.
Sounds like a plan. Congrats, man. Good to see you.
Thank you.
There he goes, Brian Mistro. Now the new athletic director. I have to give him a little more respect now that he's an AD, not just a head football coach. But so he takes over, and Tom Dosh now will be the head football coach for Jamestown beginning in 2026. So Austin we've had on a few times as well now, and I'm sure we'll run into Austin now down in Brookings, being Justin Sell's right-hand man at South Dakota State. Good stuff there, and every time get an interview with Brian, I've left I feel exhausted because it's just like he's full of life when anytime he comes on the show. Good stuff. All right, time for our final break. We come back, we'll wrap things up. We got a fun Sports Tuesday on tap. We'll get you ready for that when Hot Mike Wraps on WDAY Extra right after this. All right, wrapping things up here on a Tuesday morning. Tomorrow, Zach McGlynn, NDSU decathlete, will join us. The NCAA track championships begin tomorrow in Eugene. We'll have Zach join us. It's a fun conversation that I had with Zach before he left for Oregon. That's on the show tomorrow. Also, our official World Cup preview will be on tomorrow. The question I have heading into that for our show tomorrow is how much do people actually care around here about it? Like, I will follow it. I enjoy the event. I don't know how much I'm just going to be on, certainly when I'm at work, because there are going to be matches going on all day, because anytime you have live sports in the middle of the afternoon in June, let's go. There's no seemingly buzz about this. Like, that's the one thing I think, because it's on Fox, that, and this sounds like a shot, okay, there's no promotion for it. It doesn't seem like it's anywhere. If this event was on ESPN, you'd be hit over a 2x4 with it. And they do that really well. You cannot miss it. And it seems like it's not invisible, but it just doesn't seem like there's a buzz for it. Maybe that'll happen later in the week. The United States plays its first game on Friday night. Maybe by the time I get to Friday, I'll be amped for it. But it just seems like it doesn't seem like a big deal. And that's the question, is how big a deal is it for people that don't necessarily follow the sport? Are they, like, the Olympics is different. Obviously, it happens every 4 years like the World Cup does, but it's the Olympics. It just goes with the name. World Cup is now up to 48 countries with the amount of political garbage that's happening right now, not only in our country, but worldwide. I'm sure that has a effect on it as well. It's hard to ignore that too. To me, it feels like there's not a lot of buzz for it. Maybe that'll come as we get closer to it. Let's do two more breaking things here that happened. For you Wild fans, they have re-signed center Michael McCarron, the big man, 6'6". They traded with Nashville to get him late in the season. He was actually very good for the Wild. Signs a 6-year, $19.8 million contract, $3.3 million average annual value, according to The Athletic. So the Wild got one guy back off that was really good for them after they picked him up. Now do they go get Dylan Larkin? That's the big news out there since the Red Wings center said he wanted to be moved and put the Wild as one of his trade destinations, as one of the spots he would like to go. We'll see if that comes to fruition. Also from Packers camp, they're doing their mini camp. Matt LaFleur said he was, quote, fired up for Christian Watson's contract extension, saying he, quote, embodies how players should go about their jobs. Said he's never once complained if he didn't get the ball. That's probably good news there for the former Bison wide receiver. Just got paid last week. Let's do some what to watch before we go home. All right, what to watch brought to us by our friends at Northwestern Mutual. Game 4 tonight. Hurricanes, Golden Knights in Vegas. 7 o'clock on WDAY. We get to get another night of championship sports on Channel 6. Vegas leads the series 2-1. The Twins are back in action tonight. They start a 3-game set against the lowly Tigers. 5:30 on Twins TV for that one. And the Lynx play tonight against Dallas. That means Paige Becker's back home, 7 o'clock on Victory Sports. That's so streaming as well. The Lynx right now might have the best team in the WNBA. Olivia Miles has been fantastic. That's coming up tonight at 7. We got to roll. Thanks to our guests today, to Jake Schaffner, to Mike McFeely, to Drew Kessel, and to Brian Mistro. If you missed any of the show, you can podcast it later today at Inforum.com. You can watch a full replay on WDAY+. Everybody go out and enjoy your Tuesday. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you back here tomorrow.